Hello and welcome to the Apex Racing League GT Championship live on on the iRacing Esports Network and live on Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick. Alongside me is Adam Hedgecock, Sam Kumo operating the cameras tonight, and we are gathered here for round 6 of the championship and a return to the traditional two-race format as we are well into the second half of the season. And last time out, Adam, we saw a long overdue win. Daniel Lee finally taking the top step of the podium. He had to do it the tricky way, crashes early on, pulled off a fantastic strategy and held off a hard-charging Tom McMahon as well in the closing stages. And well, after that epic round, we've got a lot of hopes for this Imola round as well.
We have indeed. It wouldn't have been a Daniel Lee drive if there wasn't trials and tribulations along the way, would it? He done remarkably well. Really pleased for him. He was delighted afterwards, as you'd expect. And I suppose it was fitting, wasn't it, that it was a special event that he got it on. He nabbed his win. So yeah, fair play to him. Thoroughly enjoyed watching that last week. But as you say, we're back to the usual format this evening at a classic track. You have to be really brave on your braking and get your elbows out a little bit to race well here. But yeah, looking forward to this one, Sam.
Absolutely, will be fantastic to visit this circuit. The first time we visited this track in Apex Racing League history. Of course, we had British GT, we had American GT in Season 1, Season 2 of normal GT. And this Season 3, the first time that we visited this legendary circuit. Of course, Formula 1 will be visiting this place as well in the near future, which, yeah, I think a lot of racing fans cannot wait to witness. And at the moment, the drivers are in a practice session, approximately 80 minutes, the practice session. And then we will go into a 10-minute qualifying in which drivers can set 4 lap times if they so wish. In the championship at the moment, it's looking very good still for Tom McMahon, despite not winning last time out. Road Atlanta being narrowly beaten by Daniel Lee. He is at the top of the standings at the moment with about 431 points, with the drop score 510 actual points. Daniel Lee in second place, promoting himself up in 2 places. James Crouch in third place, then inside Bob Humphrey, Chris Van Den Nesse, James Salt, Jonas Bowden, who had a poor last round of the championship, Matt Grass and Mark Hutchinson in the amateur championship. Dean Powell is leading the way, certainly has been the man to beat so far, really has been superb in qualifying. Kevin Kittelman, though, with a great run of form in the last couple of rounds. He's strong in second place. Adam Coles in a strong third, also Jones and Bingham, and maybe even Holland and Saul as well. Certainly Saul you'd watch out for in the second half of the championship. And in the teams, Eva SR with a decent cushion back to Vanguard Sim Sports and Eva SR Green in third position there as well. So all looking pretty good in the championships, all of them open, albeit it would take quite something for McMahon to lose this, who has been the best qualified so far. I recently made a sheet which tells me the qualifying ratings for each of the drivers in the championship, and at the moment it is by far McMahon is the top driver in that regard. However, he has been pushed very hard so far by Jonas Bowden, who has taken a pole position himself. And Bowden was the fastest driver in practice as well. So it should be a tight qualifying between McMahon and Bowden. Eipenberg, the other driver who's taken a pole position so far this season. As we navigate our way through the first few corners of this classic Imola circuit, because these chicanes weren't always here. The old Tamburello, and now the Tamburello chicane and the Villeneuve chicane as well. They are still absolutely fantastic corners. Really do carry the flow, and it's remarkable around this circuit how, as safety requirements have increased the amount of chicanes in some parts of the circuit. Other parts we've been able to strip away the chicanes. One of them into Aqua Minerale just coming up. You can properly carry some high speed, watching some clips back from the early 90s the other day, and this part of the track so much slower than it is now. So tricky, got lots of thread the needle, so now easy to pick up a slowdown as well. Unfortunately, we still have this chicane coming up, as I think maybe McMahon picked up a 1x there. Decided to bail on that one. The drivers are free to tow back to the pits and re-enter the track. that's seemingly what he has decided to do, McMahon, feeling like that is the most economical way of setting a time in the near future. But he will have to improve. In fact, actually, was that still practice? Apologies, that was still practice. I thought that was qualifying. But we're still going through the track, which is still just as useful. We're now progressing into the qualifying session. Like I said earlier on, 10 minutes in length, 4 laps that the drivers can set. As Andrew Becker, who has recently rejoined the championship out on circuit. And in fact, this is for solo qualifying as well. So the drivers cannot see one another. It's an option that you have on iRacing, and it's usually pretty good to get a good reflection of what the grid is, and it avoids a few of the issues. You can see Becker there weaving from side to side, trying to generate as much heat as he possibly can. With this newer tire model for the GTE cars, it is an advantage for the drivers to try to generate as much heat as they possibly can. So yeah, that's what Becker is doing at the moment. But yeah, 4 laps that the drivers can set with the off tracks very possible on various parts of this track. It is going to be something to watch out for. The other best qualifying so far this season, James Crouch, has been consistently within kind of half a second in recent rounds. Also, Daniel Lee, who came so close to pole at Mosport in the last qualifying we had, albeit Lee, who jumped onto the scene here in Apex Racing League as being a great qualifier. Daniel Truly was his nickname. Has very much established himself as being more of a consistent driver nowadays, just lacking that absolute qualifying pace that he did seem to have a couple of seasons ago. Also, Eichenberg as well, albeit he was quite slow last time out at Mosport, and plenty of others as well, to be fair. You are all going to be in the mix. There's James Crouch and Dennis Eichenberg, almost on the exact same piece of circuit at the moment, putting their foot down and beginning a lap around this Imola circuit. Of course, getting rid of the old chicane, which you can still run on iRacing, which you do still run, I believe, in various bike series as well in real life around this track. But for car racing, very much stick to the long straights and should make some good overtaking opportunities into the first chicane. That was seemingly very nice there from Eichenberg. BMW does deal with the curves very impressively. That might just be a strength for Eichenberg on this. I think he can take a little bit more curve than his rivals. Run plenty wide there, even if you pick up a little bit of gravel. I think the iRacing system lets you get away without a 1x. And it's very neat and tidy for the pole sitter, of course, at Charlotte. A few weeks back, what a performance that was to take pole position from Tom McMahon by just 3/1000ths of a second to Piatella, and then into Aqua Minerale, the double rights. And so far, no lap times being set. The drivers have got to get on with this qualifying session in order to get all of their lap times in, because you cannot afford to leave any available into the next chicane. And that is very nice there from Eichenberg. This is almost looking like a perfect first lap. It's not necessarily too wild from Eichenberg. It's very much within the confines of the circuit and will be a fantastic benchmark for the others to aim for. Still no lap times being set, but lots of drivers approaching the final couple of corners. Luke McCarran the first time across the line at 38.58. Mohamed Yanko, a new driver to the series with a 38. Disappointing first lap for Bob Humphrey. Edwards now takes the pole position, and Bowden goes to the top. Eichenberg, good number, second place, quarter of a second slower than the car number 112. And interestingly, Bowden straight away into the pits. So he will waste his second lap and go for a 2-lap run to finish off the session. No lap time so far for Tom McMahon. It's just halfway round this first attempt. And McMahon will certainly be the favourite for this session, but Bowden's so good in the practice session. And in fact, Bowden's first lap time faster than what he did in the practice session. That's impressive, because we've got morning time of day. It'll be approaching noon, I imagine, or maybe late morning at the moment in session. And so the track temperature will probably be getting a bit higher, 29 degrees. And so the fact that he's been able to improve on that time further, Jonas Bowden, is really impressive. Let's see what McMahon can do. He's in a little bit late at the moment, is McMahon, it must be said, in order to get all 4 laps in. But as the defending champion and championship leader, you would not bet against him not knowing what he was doing as he crosses the line. In fact, maybe that was just an outlet for McMahon. And in fact, this is now his first lap, so he's really only left half the session remaining, and he's yet to put in a lap time, Andy.
He has. Maybe he knows something that the others don't. Maybe he's just relying on maybe two or maybe sneaking a third lap in. Maybe that's all he needs. What a lap there from Mohamed Janko, by the way, a 38.2 to go third fastest overall. He's looking pretty quick out there. Coles and Powell, the other AMs within the top 10. They're looking pretty good out there, aren't they, the amateurs? Big gap back to Kittleman down in 19th, though. So those three are running really well.
Yeah, with some fantastic performances so far from those drivers. A bit of a mixed-up grid compared to what we're used to. Dean Powell, yeah, in 8th place. And so far, Daniel Lee only in 13th. It is very close. I always say that. I think this session, maybe in the top positions, a little bit spread out. Elsewhere, it is very close at the moment. And still plenty of drivers, pretty much everyone out on circuit at the moment. And I mean, what is it similar to World GT, these rules, Adam, when it comes to limited amounts of laps in qualifying? I mean, what's your strategy usually when it comes to these qualifying sessions? Do you just go out for the full 4 laps, or do you take a break at what point in the session?
Well, they run a slightly different system in World GT now, where the different classes go out at different times. They have 10-minute slots for each class, so it's a little bit different with those. But certainly, when I used to run the AM and Pro together on the same track, as a mediocre driver, I'd always be trying to get on the back of a Pro and hope they could tow me round, maybe see a line that I'm not familiar with, which is it's a legitimate strat as far as I'm concerned. I'm sure the pros are always wondering what I was doing, sort of letting them through. But yeah, like, these guys are pros for a reason. They know how to drive these cars very, very quick indeed. So as an AM, you're always looking to them for inspiration and like I say, that line that you might not have quite dialed in yet, and in the hope that you can maybe get that little 10th or two to get you up the order.
Bowden looking to improve again here. It's just going to be an improvement. He's taking the shortest frontal line, trying to save 100th. Oh, that's a good lap. Well, I mean, it was just 100th faster. I think it was barely any quicker. What was his first lap? Just trying to find it behind the overlay. I can barely read it. Yeah, it was about, I think it was at like 2/100ths faster. Was that second lap? But if that gets in pole position, then fair dues. And if it was an aggregate, then he'd be in the box seat. McMahon already up into 2nd place then with his last lap time. I missed that one. But this final lap time, no, maybe he'll be able to do one more after this, albeit surely his tyres will be degrading a little bit. Is it good enough for pole for McMahon? No, it's not. It's a marginal improvement again for him. So still Bowden, the only driver in the 37s, and it looks as though he's going to be able to take his first pole position since round 1 of the championship.
It's certainly looking that way, isn't it? McMahon just doesn't have an answer at the moment. Really tight between him and Eipenberg as well for that 2nd position. A couple of tenths back to Mohamed Janko, who we are watching at the moment, making his debut in the series and looking pretty good out there. What time can he put in? Is it any better? No, it's not. So no improvement for Janko. Oh, no,
Oh,
I totally lied. There we go. Proven wrong. A 38.1. That's right on the money, isn't it? Wow, that's impressive.
I don't know what's going on with the timing. It's, someone has to, generate some electricity before we can get those times. But that was quite a delay. But it raises the tension, doesn't it? It is quite good. So yeah, Yanko, who is at the moment marked as an AM, but I think considering him a pro after today, of course we promoted Winbow after 4th place. Oh, that's off the circuit. That's a 1x for Cohen. It's quite far off though, McCohen's in 5th place. So I don't know if he needs that lap. It might be good enough, although you will be disappointed if it doesn't improve from there. Daniel Lee, at the moment, I mean, a bit of a fall from grace. It's got to be said. This is, I think, Lee's worst qualifying performance I've ever witnessed. Adam. I'll
Well,
just I mean, I can tell you as well
I was going to say, haven't you got a
because
sheet that can tell this?
well, I've only got it for this season, and of course he took part in last season and half of the season before as well. But so far this season, Lee has been zero point 0.5, zero point 0.8, zero point 0.5, and zero point 0.2, and this is percentages of pole position. And for this is a 100-second lap, so it's pretty much reflective of tenths of a second. And then today he's quite a bit further off, so shame for Daniel Lee there. Um, and we'll see if he can gain some places. He has been very good in race one so far as Lee. Not getting too many points in race twos. Maybe if we get the reverse, decent size reverse grid, he might be in a better position. So it's Jonas Boden then, who really needs to win today and heavily outscore McMahon to keep his championship hopes alive, albeit but I think that they're quite far away regardless. He's on pole position for Hell Races. Tom McMahon starts in second place. Then it's Mohamed Yanko on his debut, laying up in third. Good qualifying for Vulcan Sim Racing. Then it's Eipenberg lines up in fourth. Luke McCohen in fifth. There's Taj Edwards. Great to see him back. Of course, made his return to the series back last time out at Road Atlanta. Arthur Godsick starts in seventh place. Then it's James Crouch, Dean Powell, who's top of the proper arms, Chris Van der Nesse, Adam Coles, Emil Winby, Max Wolf, Mark Hutchinson, Daniel Lee down in 15th place, Matty Chambers, that's a very strong row of the grid, isn't it, in 16th. Jensen Adjinson starts in 17th minutes, Yaron Winemaster, great to see him on the grid for the first time. Rob Humphrey starts in 19th, then it's Tom Stevens, Kevin Kittelman, Mads Grabson, Andrew Becker, Kev Copeland, 24th, Tim Perry, Alex Moore, Joseph Saul, Daniel Siri Savage, shame for Siri Savage there, Michael Rosenfeld, Tom Bingham, John Chessida, Brian Jones, Robert Lundgren, Aaron Powell, John Gordon, and Steve Brown. Powell and Siri Sabo will definitely be starting from the pits because they've got penalties to serve. Not sure about Winter. I might just have to check if he got a penalty last time out or not.
Yeah, naughty boys have to sit on the naughty step, I'm afraid. But yeah, I'll tell you what, the quality of this field, it blows my mind every week, Sam, when you're reading out through the names of the grid, just how deep the talent pool is here and why it's such a competitive series. It's brilliant seeing some of the names that are involved. But shocker for Lee, as you said, out-qualified by his teammate Powell. I don't think that's happened often. So he's going to be pretty happy with that one. And Eipenberg and Yanko just behind McMahon now. They're going to be trying to hunt him down, aren't they? They don't want to let these front two get away again, like they have done previously. So it's all to play for.
And it's the first time that's happened. Lee with a third and eighth, fourth in qualifying. But a long way away from that. He needs to try to recover second place in the championship, and that position will be under threat. Cannot gain many places. But it's Jonas Boden for the first time since round one of the championship who can control the order. It is a chaotic start we have here. The green flag comes out very late and it's a very narrow first couple of corners. Jonas Boden puts his foot down and we are away racing for 25 minutes of action at Imola for round 6 of the Apex Racing League GT Championship. Boden pulling away, reminds him well to keep behind Yanko. Eipenberg close to attacking at the moment, but I think Yanko's being able to put his car just on the outside, in fact. He is going to lose out. Eipenberg straight away ahead, and Yanko just at threat of dropping down the order at the moment. Edwards looking racing behind. Lee with a very poor start. In fact, it's Winemaster who is dropping down the order at the moment, so terrible for him. And also Tom Stevens as well, I believe, having a dreadful start. But it's out in the lead. It's Boden lead about half a second over McMahon. Eipenberg up a place, Edwards up a place, Crouch up a couple of places. Poor start then for a couple of the drivers in for Crouch and Yanko then. But Van der Nesse having to trying to gain a place off Godsick at the moment. Just around slightly off the roads. Can he get his car on the inside? Not quite. Godsick taking that 8th place. But yeah, a little bit of chaos in the back. And also Rob Winter and Tom Bingham have now got involved in the collision.
We don't see it often, are you? There's Bingham off the track with Winter just ahead of him. We don't say it often, do we? But McMahon was caught napping a little bit, I feel. Boden got the jump on him, managed to get a bit of a gap, took it nice and easy going into the first couple of corners. McMahon's now kind of caught back up with him a touch, still half a second in it. Eipenberg got the better of Yanko in a great little battle going through the first chicane. We did see, I think it was Crouch was on the inside, got a real good jump. It was Crouch that I saw, yes, in the black BMW. Got a lovely jump, managed to get some places. Oh, Wimbo's around. Oh, I tell you what, Sam, we see this far too often. It's such a shame.
Oh, God's sake.
It's that
Well,
collision coming down the main straight, just not giving each other room. Wow.
yeah, I was having a couple of issues, and I initially saw the context. I was guaranteed that was going to be an airplane crash. Deary me, two very respected drivers as well in Godsake and Van der Nesse. Van der Nesse well up in the championship, 6th place in the championship, I believe. Godsake was winning a race earlier on in the championship as well. That was nearly an absolutely horrendous impact between the two of them, but they have fortunately got a bit of a gap between them now. But yeah, Winbo, such a shame for Winbo. He's always been qualifying in the top 15 so far this season, always ahead of the amateur drivers, and yet scored very few points. Change of car as well will hurt his position. Humphrey versus Adrianson. Is Humphrey either gaining back the place, or no, in fact Humphrey did start behind. Has there been an issue for someone else? No, so but Humphrey up into 15th place. He's up 4 places from his start.
He is. Great start from Humphrey. Started a little bit further down than perhaps we kind of expect from him, but a great move around the outside as they come over the top of their hill. Lovely commitment to that, to go around the outside. Van der Nesse, is he serving a slowdown? I think he is. He's bleeding positions at the moment. So easy to get a slowdown at the top of the hill, that tricky little chicane. Do you go out too wide or cut a little bit too much? You can lose a lot of places. And now Daniel Lee up to 12th, right behind his teammate.
Yeah, Powell with a poor start, Dean Powell. Hence why they're quite so close. Van der Nesse, I think, has he still got a bit of slowdown to serve? Two slowdown, so it shouldn't be too costly, but I think he is going to lose that place now. Oh, takes a lot of curb. And he's might lose another place now to the Porsche just behind him. Beinmaster and Copeland and Saul all off the circuit in the background. That must have happened down the pit straight. I can only imagine into turn 1, perhaps. We have seen a few collisions so far there today. Humphrey can take advantage of that. But look at this really long train at the moment from Hutchinson in 9th place and leading all the way back to Bob Humphrey now.
It's really, really tricky to pass here. I've driven here in GT cars, and it's so hard. When you think you've got an overlap, more often than not, you're not far enough along. You're not far enough forward to make the move actually work, because the track is so flowing, and there's no real heavy braking zones to capitalize on it. So, what can go from attack, as we see Van der Nesse behind Wolf just ahead of us, he could have a little look-see there, and before you know it, you've got Humphrey right behind you again, trying to capitalize on an offline or just a move that you wouldn't really see coming. It's so tough to get it done here. So I'm not surprised we have got a bit of a train going. And that was a very long way of explaining it. I apologise for that.
No,
I got wrapped right up in that.
You explained it very well. Kitzelman is... Oh, this is a shame for Kevin Kitzelman, who was launching a very good attack. Of course, it wasn't a great start to the season for Kitzelman, but then had a really good Moss spot round, had a really good Road at Atlanta round as well. Ooh, here is Powell, and he's made up a place on Adam Coles. Well, that looks gutsy there from Powell, and here comes Lewis. Well, how's he done that one? Can't go around the outside in that corner. Oh, that's a Daniel Lee though. Up into 11. Crucially, guaranteed to be within the reverse grid. Now he's got to get past his teammate. Now, boys, don't harm one another. That would be very counterproductive. Oh no, it looks like they're going to do it. And benefiting from this one again is Adam Cole. I don't know how the two M Science UK drivers have been able to do that. And Lee's going to have to be gutsy around the outside. He'll hold on to that, but has lost them a bit of time. Sure, they've got to change the positions, though. Lee is looking back to his normal stuff. It's almost always got the pace advantage over Powell when it comes to the races. And now, Coles is going to lose a place potentially to Max Wolf, who is consistently struggling in qualifying. And he has been able to get past. Good move. And Van der Nesse will soon try to get past Coles, who was unusually dropping down the order very quickly.
He is indeed. Back up front, Bodin has got McMahon right behind him. It's less than 2/10 now. And Eipenberg is only a second back from there. They've managed to get away from P4 in Mohamed Yanko. So these guys have got a bit of breathing space. Look at the slipstream there, the toe. McMahon looking to the outside. Eases off, doesn't want to make a move. Now, I don't think he has to, really. They're building the gap like they usually do, albeit with Eipenberg in tow this time. But yeah, I'm not sure whether he's going to, I say this every week, and I'm not sure whether he's going to make a move just yet or bide his time. Whichever way I say, it's usually wrong. So let's just enjoy this and see what happens, see how it unfolds.
It does seem like he is biding his time, but biding his time, boding.
I'll tell you what, the moment you try doing that, I can tell you that's not boding well for you.
Oh, well done. Well, I was teeing that one up for you. And you knocked it out of the park. Yeah, Bodin is. It looked like he was being pretty aggressive down into one. He was playing his car into the middle of the circuit, very much saying, "Just go either side of me." Then putting your car into the middle of the circuit around a narrow circuit like this in wide cars like these GTEs is a pretty good strategy. It's very difficult to do a whole lot about it. McMahon very rarely gets involved in collision. He's got involved in a race to collision at Road America earlier on in the season, but that's pretty much the extent of it. Got dive here. And almost leaving that one a bit open. But the BMW is the fastest car down the straight. Certainly in the AMF series, it is. Aaron Powell having a tough time. Where's that Dean Powell? That's Dean Powell. Oh, well, totally surprising. Dean Powell's so good in qualifying. He should be miles ahead in the Amateur Championship. Incidents like this keep him creeping in.
They do indeed. We can see Lee's already got past him, so he's done the switch round with his teammate. Oh, he just carried too much speed. Oh, into the barriers. Just a little touch though, so no real damage, but look at all the cars streaming by at the top of the hill. That's so demoralising. I would usually have sympathy for him, but we had a coming together in a GT race last week, so I'm not overly sympathetic this week for him.
That's good to hear. Despite
no grudges held.
Through your veins. Jensen Adkins in 17th place, one of the only drivers out there who is running where he started. Chester's just had an offers, by the way, but I think that's just a quick cut across the gravel. Atkinson's almost being overtaken by Becker. I mean, what is Becker's position at the moment in the championship? I mean, he's been really good since he's come back, and he'll probably be making up some decent points at the moment on some of his amateur rivals. I'm just wondering if he could launch a late challenge for the championship. I think he missed the first 2 rounds of the championship, therefore he'd missed the first 3 rounds of the championship. So yeah, probably out of that one, but did finish a very good 13th last time out at Road Atlanta. Second place out of the amateur judge. Just unfortunately, actually, it was quite serious for him. I thought he was just skipping through the gravel trap. Instead, he's had to tow back to the pits. So the Welshman, one of the first retirees of this race, will try to at least finish within 2 laps though, in order to score some points.
He will. Such a shame as well. He's a stalwart of the series, isn't he? Is Mr. Tressler. So it's always a shame to see him having to bow out. See Daniel Lee fighting with. He's actually fighting from Hutchinson. I think they've switched places. Lee did pass him. I don't know whether he got a slowdown, but Hutchinson's back past him again as they come down into the first chicane. Oh, that's a lot of curve for Hutchinson. Launches the car. Those little sausages, you've got to be careful. Those Lee with a big power slide, trying to capitalise. And there we see Maxwell just behind, thinking, "Oh, you know what? I'll have a bit of this as well. You guys go at it. I'll pick up the pieces."
Oh, here comes Lee. No, not quite. It did put his rival offline. And now that straight line speed of the BMW. Can he get close enough to the left? I don't think it's a big advantage, to be fair. It might just be that Aussie Mixon and Big Switch run big setup. Maybe they've just taken a little bit less wing out of the BMW. Certainly knowing that in that series, the BMW is an advantage. We saw a long time coming win actually in that as well today. Trent Thomas, which just kind of reminded me a bit of Daniel Lee's win, as James Crouch is down to 6th place. I see some grooves in the grass there. I wonder if he's cut the chicane, and he is down into 7th place now is the Vanguard Sim Sports driver after running in, it was only 6th place, so he's lost 1 place here.
Let's see, he's going up the hill. He's weaving a little bit to try and defend. Oh, he just snatched a break. So easily done there. Cuts across the chicane. That's going to be a little bit of a slowdown for him. Fortunately now, with the latest iRacing update, it tells you how long you've got to actually serve the slowdown, so you can bleed it off a little bit more progressively, which is nice. So doesn't really feel too much pain for it. Lost a couple of places. I just see on the timing tower there, little red for Ivanberg. He's having excursions of his own up in 3rd place, but we're back with the Hutchinson-Lee fight. Hutchinson still holding his own. Wolf still in behind Lee, waiting to pounce. Lee is, he's all over the road now. He's managed to get up the inside as they come down to the 2nd chicane, and Hutchinson just eases out and lets him have it. That one was all too easy for Daniel Lee.
Oh, here comes Wolf. This is one of the strongest races, I think, of Max Wolf this season.
Oh, now you've done it.
He's been very consistent, to be fair. He's had an 11th, a 22nd, an 18th, 17th, 15th, 16th, and 14th. That is insane consistency.
That is consistent, wow.
So he's finished between 14th and 18th in each of the last 5 races. He would be doing a bit better. This would be his joint best result of the season. Missed the first round of the championship as well. And he is doing very well. 15th in the championship, only 29th when it comes to qualifying though. You don't need to be a genius to realise how much qualifying is affecting him. Surprising though that Wolf hasn't had better results, because I think in race 1 he always just finishes like 2 places below the reverse grid places. I think that's really harmed him. Actually, if you qualify between 15th and 20th, it can sometimes work well. As soon as you finish in the top 15, then usually you get within the reverse grid and have a good race too, but that hasn't quite happened. Max Wolf so far this season. That's 11th place would be very good, looking for his first top 10 of the season. Joseph Saul battling with Winbo Rosenfield is off the track. I haven't really looked at Michael Rosenfield too much so far today. The 298 is making his debut. He has had a quick excursion there as Winbo goes alongside Joseph Saul. Now, started off the season so well, did Saul. But ever since a hefty penalty he received at round 2 of the championship, he's struggled to make up too many points, and it is Winbo in 22nd place.
Winbo, of course, trying to recover after his earlier spin. Who's this side-by-side? McKeown. And who is that he's with?
Yeah,
is that... no, Edwards is alongside, isn't he? Edwards, McKeown and Crouch is the group. It took me a moment there. I got a little bit confused about what I was looking at. Some great battling side by side. You have to be really careful here, of course, because there are some monster slowdowns on the middle part of the track. So it's done well to keep out of each other's way and allow the racing to continue. See how much runoff they take on the exit of that chicane. You really do need a soft car here to monster the curbs and use that runoff. Gain so much time there. But Taj Edwards, Crouch having a little look, just muscling his way through. Edwards with a bit of slide. Oh, there's contact as well. That is such a shame. Both carrying on though. It's given McKeown a little bit of breathing space. Just run out of road, didn't they? It's slightly off camber as you come down there, so the cars drift out wide anyway. Fortunately for them, they keep going.
It's Godsick as well for Fuga Racing. To get defensive is Crouch in 6th place. Does hang on to that one. Crouch has been very consistent as well this season. He's had a 4th, a 5th, 2 fourths, he's had 2 fourths, a 5th, an 8th, a 9th, and a 2nd, of course, and a win. Race 1 at Monza when Odin and McMahon collided out in front. Ooh, that's great for God's sake. I don't think Edwards will let that one go too easily, but they are teammates. So they'll go alongside up the hill. Edwards with the slightly better straight line speed, and he'll be able to fend this one off. So it's a good run for his money at the moment. Godsick, of course, taking a race win himself, race 2 at Road America, but hasn't managed to reach the podium ever since.
That was a good win as well, though, wasn't it? He really deserved it. I'm still loving the Fuga livery on that car. It's a shame that Taj isn't running it on his Ford there. I was looking at the Twitter of the guy who makes these livery is James Leggett, and he done a lovely version of it on the LMP2 car. It looked glorious. Really nice work. Yeah, I love seeing those cars out on track because, well, it's orange, my favourite colour, and it's kind of a little bit all over the place, isn't it? Nothing matches, and I love that.
And
Asymmetric. Is that the word? That's the word, isn't it?
these two are matching one another on pace at the moment. Asymmetric is the right word, I believe. Edwards going now, and that was all a bit of a waste of time between two teammates. Further down, Lundgren, Bingham, and Jones having a good battle at the moment. Ryan Jones changing. No, he was changing liveries. That's why I was talking to him earlier on. I thought he may have changed cars because we've seen so many drivers change cars in the off week. Plenty of 50-point penalties being given out to drivers. The Porsche, not the dominant car to go for anymore. A few more different cars being represented, apart from obviously the Ferrari. If there is there one driver representing the Ferrari? Is it? Quite sure who is representing the Ferrari. Here we go. We've got Weinmaster. Someone else.
And Perry.
Ferrari. And Perry, of course. He did change to the Ferrari for this round.
He said he felt bad that we were racing at Imola and there wasn't going to be a Ferrari on the track, so changed. And from what I saw on the Discord, he kind of regretted it a little bit, which is a real shame. But I mean, he's doing well though at the moment. Currently 20th, and he's gained 5 positions. So there he is in the glorious red boosted car. So yeah, he's doing well, all things considered. Just needs to gain a couple more positions, get himself really involved in reverse grids. We've seen him a little bit on the cusp a few times, haven't we? He's never been able to get that reverse grid in his favour, really, and that's kind of put paid to any real aspirations of top finishes this season.
If you don't get those, if you're not within the reverse places, it's tricky to do a whole lot for race 2, and like I said in the past, that is really the threshold that you need to get to as an amateur driver. Perry's a pro driver, but still in the championship he's hanging around the amateur just about 20th place overall, as he's going to be overtaken here by Winbo, who was on a charge. And if Winbo does get within the reverse grid, if he can get himself a front row start, then I would not bet against a debut win, or a first win, for the Swedish driver. Might be a Swedish one too, mightn't it? It might be 1988 tennis all over again with Billander and Edberg. Apologies for that tennis knowledge. We have a tennis theme now in this championship. Daniel Civisabe in 28th. Oh, this is going really close. Now, also so it's going to be shoved off slightly there. Taking advantage of it is Aaron Powell. Starts from the pit lane. Now Powell will try to get past Jones as well. Gets a down the inside for Vilna, but the outside line is usually the better line for this one. It is just so quick, but Powell wise to that, and he does get his nose ahead.
I don't use the phrase often, but this is getting quite spicy. I'm loving it. These guys, we've seen them race before. They don't leave any quarter for each other, do they? They go at it, and they go at it hard. So of course, as you say, Powell making the recovery drive after starting from the pits. Look at that, round the outside, up at the top. Civi Sabo got nothing to fight that with at this moment in time. Plummet down the hill into the trickiest corner on the track, I feel. You run a little bit too wide. Like, who's that just up ahead? Was that Jones possibly serving a slowdown now because of that? You run a little bit wide, you do get a slowdown. It looks that way. A lock-up from Lundgren up ahead. He's really been struggling today. He's had a few lock-ups in the practice, really trying to get a grasp on the car, but yeah, 27th, 26th, 28th and 30th, 29th as well. Mismatch of numbers because this is not going to end in this order. Oh, and there's contact as they come down the hill.
Jones off. Ryan Jones drops outside the top 30, gains a place for Kittelman as well. It's 1 point separates each of these positions. You get 1 more point for each place that you gain around this area. So you get up to about the top 15 when it turns into a 2-point interval. Meanwhile, Lundgren loses out to Powell, who is nearly got a chance of a first. But look at the wait, is that a legit gap? That's like crazy. It's a chasm, Adam. It is a chasm.
It is with a capital
18
K.
seconds.
Yeah, well, how's that happened? I don't know how that's happened. I am really confused. I mean, I know I've spent a lot of time this race telling stories about various things, but where has 18 seconds come from? I do not understand this.
They are a long way off the lead. Over a minute off the lead is a big gap. That is unusual to see in a well, 22 minutes into this race. At the moment, are we even going to see some drivers go a lap down? I mean, nearly. Tom Bingham's nearly going to be a lap down. John Gordon, not having the best time of it, but Gordon was only over a second. Well, it was only about a second. So, to be fair, I think has Gordon come into the pits? No, not apparently, according to our screen at least. None of them come into the pits, but. That's a strange one. Only Brown and Winter, the retirees so far. Chester already one lap down, but as long as he keeps his pace up, we'll be able to score points. Humphrey, ooh, that could be big for Bob Humphrey. On the front runners in the championship, and usually puts himself in such a good position for race 2. I don't think he's going to be able to get within the reverse grid anymore. We do have a reverse grid which goes up to 24, I believe, but certainly the odds are against Humphrey now, just to 23rd. That is quite big for him and his Evo SR Green team, of course. So yeah, that will promote everyone else up a place as well. It increases the chances of Winbo managing to get a reverse grid pole. McEwen, he is under pressure from Crouch, who has gone up the order, down the order, and now he's trying to move back up through the order again, trying to get 5th place. But these guys still within touching distance of Yanko ahead.
They are indeed. He still gained 2 from where he started, so it hasn't been all bad for him, but he does seem to be stuck behind cars a lot. I feel like this is a common theme with him. He's just not quite aggressive enough to get lots of moves done. He tends to get bogged down behind a car. He's going out to the outside now of Mikio and just trying to force him to take that compromise line and maybe get the momentum, but you can see he's compromised himself a fair bit there. He's fallen back half a second. That cost him. That's big. It's a bit of a mistake there from him. Who's that? I don't know whether that's a connection issue up ahead from Janko, or whether that's lockups. It keeps seeing puffs of smoke. That we can see he's having little issues there. So it's not lockups. But that will put these guys off. They're trying to chase him down. The last thing they want to see is someone bobbing in and out of reality.
Really look like Dan is that turn 1, that Crouch kind of got himself into the wrong position. He kind of got himself cornered. Cornered.
Yeah. I mean, if you wanted to say that, you could have said that he got himself into a box.
It's pretty good, yeah. That's the one thing I have over you, Adam. Starting to bet to me.
Well, I mean, that's the problem with him. He took that gamble and he paid the penalty.
What's the point in me being here at this point?
Well, you do the tennis ones. You know the tennis ones.
No, I do know. I've run out of the tennis ones today, to be honest. There's only so many. It's quite a dull game, frankly. So there's not a whole lot that you can do about it. Sick in 7th, Edwards in 8th. Here we go again. Gonna be a bit of a peak Crouch though with the dummy. And up the inside. And he couldn't get ahead again. That was great defense there. Owen in order to fend that one off.
Kittelman in the pits. What's going on with Kittelman? A little bit of damage on his car, but nothing really evident as these two battle on.
Crouch. And he's fully round. That was insane there. But James Crouch, he lost so much grip. And he would drop behind Lee, who moves up into 8th. And also Wolf, who moves up into 9th. Going to be best result of the season for Max Wolf at the moment. Crouch, fortunately, still within the reverse grid places and ahead of his teammate as well in the form of Hutchinson. Crouch, who fought for so long for a good position. On the outskirts of the top 10 now. But as in the lead, we'll notice that we haven't paid a whole lot of attention to him. Quite simple for him all the way through. Jonas Bowden, who came under a bit of pressure earlier on, managed to pull it over a second gap. And it's going to be his first race win in the season since round 1, and it does give him a little bit of hope for the championship as well. Jonas Bodin, the Hell Racers, approaches the line, and he wins race 1 at Imola. Congratulations to him. McMahon in second place, Eichenberg in third. Going to be top of the amateur judge is Mohammed Yank, albeit he will be promoted. So it'll actually be Adam Coles who will be top of the amateur judge in 12th place, and that is a guaranteed reverse grid place as well for Coles. Who, after a bit of a not a fantastic road Atlanta round, is getting himself back on course in the Autosport Gold, taking the gold medal in that class. Van der Nesse in 13th place, Chambers in 14th, Grafson in 15th. Dean Powell could be within the reverse good place as well. Wimbo actually had an issue near the end, I think, and dropped back behind Stevens and Perry. Would have got 18th place if it weren't for that. But instead, Wimbo comes across the line in 20th place. Saul rounds out the podium in the amateur category. But about time for Bowden. I mean, as actually we've got alongside still. Lundgren versus Copeland, and Lundgren I think will have this one. But we've had to wait for a while, Adam, for this pace to kind of be invested in Jonas Boden. I mean, he was so quick in the first round of the championship at Road America, hasn't really shown it ever since. And then produces a performance like that, lights the flag, dominant race victory.
It was, yeah. We kind of thought that McMahon was going to give him a bit of a run for his money. He got pretty close, but the sustained speed of that BMW, I don't know whether it's just better over the curbs here, so he can take more risks and push harder with the car to keep those lap times going. But certainly bodes well for the second race. That pace differential between them, whether they can make any places up and gap McMahon and look to capitalise on that as well. Would be interesting to see. But great result for all three of them, to be fair. Eichenberg in third as well. That's a solid result for him too.
Back on the podium for Eichenberg, it's going to be... So McMahon now has finished in the top 2 in each race bar 2. He's had 3 first places and now 5 second places as well. That's the consistency that he's had. Bonin then wins, 2.7 seconds clear off McMahon. Eichenberg rounds out the podium. Mohammed Yanka quite far distant in the end, but the others battling behind him kind of kept him safe on the most part, while continuing racing with a 4 and 5 after a poor start actually for the pair. Then they managed to get a good result out of there. Taj Edwards rounds out the top 6. His best result of the season. Artur Godsick was in 7th. Daniel Lee, great recovery for him in 8th. Could be dangerous as well with the reverse grid. Max Wolf, his best result of the season in 9th. There's James Crouch, Mark Hutchinson, Adam Coles, Chris van der Nesse, Matthew Chambers, Mads Grabson, Dean Powell, Alex Moore, Tim Perry, Tom Stevens, Emil Winbo, Joseph Stahl, Michael Rosenfeld, Jensen Adjinsons, Andrew Becker, Aaron Powell, Daniel Sabo, Robert Lundgren, Kev Copeland, Yaron Weinmaster, John Gordon, Tom Bingham, Brian Jones, John Chester, Bob Humphrey, Kevin Kisserman, Steve Brown, Rob Winter in 37th. And of course, he didn't score points. Unfortunately, Humphrey didn't score points. Kisserman, Brown, and Winter all didn't score points. Because he needs to be either on the lead lap or 1 lap down to be eligible for them. However, plenty enough drivers were eligible for the reverse grid, so whatever comes up on the wheel will be the reverse grid position. And Sam, I think we are ready to present that now.
Yes, we are. Let me just bring it up. Here we go. And let's just also spin it. And it is spinning. No, it will be 20.
Takes quite a large one. I think, dare I say, the largest of the season. And that means that Emil Winbo will be on pole position. He knew what he was doing, didn't he? He knew what he was doing. Dropped back a couple of places on reverse grid pole. Serious chance, like I said, of 1980. Was it 1988 or 19? Oh, was it 97? 87, sorry. I'm not sure. But basically, Sweden are doing well, and they could get a double race win tonight. Winbo on pole position, Stevens alongside him. Perry and more on the second row of the grid. We will be back then, the Apex Racing League GT Championship, in about 15 minutes time. You do not want to miss what will be a fantastic race too. We'll see you back very soon. Welcome back to the Apex Racing League GT Championship, live on the iRacing Esports Network and live on Apex Racing TV. My name's Sam Fitzpatrick. Once again, alongside me is Adam Hedgecock, Sam Kume on the cameras. And we are prepping for this race 2 of the evening. This is round 6 of the championship. So, race 12 of the season coming up for you in just a moment. And in race 1, Adam, we saw Jonas Bowden being able to take the race victory. However, we also saw a rather large reverse grid, the largest reverse grid I think that we've seen all season long. And Emil Winbo starting on pole position. I mean, for me, he's looking very strong for this race as long as he doesn't make any other errors. Can you identify anyone else who's starting a little bit further up who might also have a decent chance?
To be honest, I'm with you. I only really see, because it's such a large reverse, Wimbo is definitely in the best place possible, isn't he? We know he's got the pace, and you're right. If he can not make a mistake, then this one could be his. Now, we know Bodin and McMahon, they're going to come through. Sure they are. Daniel Lee is not going to be a million miles away. You see him on your screen now. He's going to be right there as well. Eifenberg, he's pretty good with traffic, so he can make a bit of a move. But yeah, for me, it's all on Wimbo at this point. Apart from Perry, because I'd love to see Perry win.
Well, absolutely. That I'm sure that livery will be getting him an extra couple of mile an hour. Hopefully we'll see, of course, a bit of a mixed up race 2. But yeah, this has been an opportunity for Wimbo. So far, it's made just 2 main mistakes so far this season. Got caught up in too many incidents, but this could be a great opportunity for one of the best 4-5s in the series. To get his first race win in the championship and get his first top 10 in the championship. It's happened so far this season. We are just in practice at the moment. We've got 30 seconds more of practice remaining before we jump into the race. I mean, are you a guy, Adam, who jumps into a warm-up or a practice between races, or do you just relax? Because I don't know how these guys do it. When I used to race in the BSR Radical Championship, the last thing I wanted to be doing when I wasn't racing was to be driving. I just wanted to, put my feet back and relax for a moment. It's so intense out there. I don't know how these guys can just go on for a jolly drive out there between races.
If it's a track that I'm not doing particularly well at, then I'll take the 10-minute break to go and get a cup of tea, go and chill out. But if it's a track that I'm going well at, or if I had a good first race, I will be straight on the track again in the warm-up just to keep myself in that mode, keep my the momentum. There we go. That was a hard word to say. And hope to take it into the second race.
Emil Winbo then for Apex Racing Academy is on pole position. 148 car. Tom Stevens, we haven't talked too much about him. Podiums or 4th place driver before. Got 4th place at race 2 at Phillip Island last season. That's his best result so far. Tim Perry starts in 3rd place. Then it's Alex Moore. Could be Dangerous Moore, actually. Dean Powell has shown some good pace. But Reed does need to start scoring some big points. Powell was fortunate that the reverse was as big as it was. Then it's Mads Grafson, Matthew Chambers, Chris van den Nesse, Adam Coles, Mark Hutchinson, James Crouch, Max Wolf, Daniel Lee. Watch out for him. He could be dangerous from 13th. Artur Godsick, Taj Edwards, Luke McCowan, Mohammed Yanko, Dennis Eifenberg, Tom McMahon, and of course race 1 winner Jonas Bowden. Joseph saw sums up his season, done it, when he misses out on the reverse grid by 1 place. Really hasn't been Sol's season. And then Adjunsons, Becker, Powell, Civisabe, Copeland, Vinemaster, Gordon, Bingham, Jones, Chester, Kisselman, Brown, Winter, rounding out the order. Unfortunately, we've actually lost 2 drivers. One was Bob Humphrey, who which was Clay had a bit of a rough day and called it a day after feeling a little bit tired, which is certainly the wise thing to do. Credit to him for thinking sensibly like that, keeping everyone else on circuit safe. As the Ford pace car brings round Emil Winbo, the pole position should be a big advantage round this circuit. Winbo holds on, now puts his foot on the floor, and he does make a big gap straight away to the rest of the order. We're back under racing conditions here at Imola. And Tom Stevens will have to fend off Tim Perry, who I think is going to have the better line. The Ferrari driver at the Ferrari circuit on the inside, but it isn't a move at the moment. Good defense there from Stevens to offer some room and good respectful racing from the pair off. And Chris Van der Nesse gaining a couple of places a bit further back in 6th place. Back comes Perry again. Rico has to go defensive. It's more at the moment. He's had to go off the circuit, I believe, or Perry's gone off the circuit. Really off the track now and into the middle of the circuit. Hits Chris Van der Nesse. And is there going to be further contact further back? And that was all a big mess coming out of the second chicane, and plenty of drivers have got involved.
They have. That kind of came out of nowhere. It all seems to be going swimmingly for a lot. Oh, careful. Don't run into each other on the gravel there. Yeah, out of nowhere. That one, Sam. I'm surprised. It all seemed to be going smoothly for the front runners, just chilling out, getting their lines in. But all of a sudden, yeah, as you said, there's a big one. And multiple cars. I lost track of the amount of cars that are involved. Who's that more serving a slowdown, it seems. A lap 1 slowdown in iRacing terms is not what you want to be doing. Although, he's coming way too late there. Who's that he's spun round? That Becker he's spun round. And Eipenberg off the track as well. I think there was a bit of needle in the Discord chat between races, Sam, and I kind of fear it's flowing out into the track at the moment. Nobody's giving anyone any room for manoeuvre.
Some pretty aggressive driving at the moment from the guys out there. Which is surprising considering what we've seen so far this season. Look at that, in the middle of the track it's Tom Bingham for Performance Racing, and he collides again with seemingly Rosenfield, who he hit in the first place. We've got another one. Look at them all scattered around. We're going to have some big gainers after this first lap. Reinmaster, who in his debut should have been the one who got involved in all of this, and yet he's up 15 places. Kitson went up 17, Jones up 14. Some big losses for many of the drivers. 14 minutes, so plenty of time to bring it back. But some big changes already so far. So it's Winbo leading the way. 2.7 seconds clear of the rest of the order. Miles quicker. I mean, 10 seconds faster than some of the drivers outside the top 10. He's got a huge gap already over the midfield. Stevens, in fact, apologies, it's Powell up into 2nd place, and that was very impressive for Powell. I don't know how he managed to gain a couple of places like that, but he's up into 2nd place. Stevens holding back Grabson and Chambers and Coles at the moment. Crouch, Hutchinson, Bowden, Godsick. That's a very strong lineup of drivers. Yanko as well. Mohamed Yanko in 11th place. Axmore's just gone off the second again, it seems. Tom McMahon up 5 places. So, as round, it's Stevens. Stevens is round. Oh, that's a pain for the Pro Academy driver, and he has to do a full 180 to get back on course.
Yeah, again, no quarter given. Cole's having a little look on Grabson in front. Oh, who's that comes steaming in? More contact.
That's Bowden involved in that one, and Hutchinson as well. Oh, that you're right though there on that punch. I think that was Crouch who went in way too deep, and that contact just started a domino effect.
I'm really confused with what we're seeing, Sam. The drivers have been so well behaved all season. Sure, there's been little incidences here and there, but it's exploding. We've only done 2 and a bit laps, and we've lost half the field through incidents, whether they've been off the track, whether they've had collisions. This is crazy. Speaking of crazy, this is just the sort of thing that Emil Wimbo needs and wants, because he's pulling a gap to Powell and extending it. Grabson behind him with Kraus and Chambers, Godsick. They're quick. But he's got a big gap right now, nearly 7 seconds back to Grabson already because of all the incidents. So this is playing into his hands nicely.
Yeah, no, it certainly is helping him. However, the other drivers thinning out might mean that there's less obstacles for the front runners to get through at the same time. So Wimbo would still like to have some cars in the middle, but this is looking good for Winbo at the moment because he's got Powell who'll be able to hold up Grabson. Grabson should be able to hold back Crouch, and Crouch and Chambers and Godsick should be able to hold back the likes of Yanko, Bowden and McMahon. So we're threatening at the moment for everyone kind of just to get stuck behind one another, and hopefully there'll be a big train on the podium places to the outskirts of the top 10. Bowden got involved in that collision in the Ravazzas around this part of the track on the last lap. Probably has a bit of damage, but still going in 9th place. Mohamed Yanko, could he win a race here? It's certainly possible. He's ahead of Bowden and McMahon, so he could be in a good place. Winter had to take back to the pits, unfortunately, after starting right from the back of the order. As we look a little bit further up, Powell under pressure from Gravson. In fact, Gravson, sorry, no, that's Gravson depending on Crouch, apologies. And these guys are now 7 seconds off the lead and 5 seconds off second.
Well, this is the thing. These guys are racers.
I think Powell's gone off the circuit by himself. He has. In second place,
no.
you can just see the car in the distance. And Dean Powell. Oh man, he doesn't want the Amstel title, does he? So many points dropped so far this season through mistakes from Dean Powell. Fortunately, he will still be able to continue, but that is a brilliant opportunity at a podium gone.
I was about to say, this is going to play into his hands because the guys behind are racers. They're going to race hard against each other, so he's got a chance of actually keeping a gap. But, oh, was I wrong? What a mistake to make. Such a shame. I know I said begrudgingly earlier that I wasn't thinking too fondly of him at the moment, but it's always a shame to see that happen. He had a real chance to stake a claim at a podium place at least.
So Gravson up into second place now. So that's one less obstacle because, you know, Powell would have fought hard, I'm sure, if the leaders caught up, or the championship leaders caught up to him in the closing stages. And now he is not an obstacle in their way. Gravson still holding back Crouch, but the BMW is quick down the straight. It's probably the car which is most likely to be able to overtake. It's the most raceable car out there. And here comes the straight line advantage. By the time they get to the straight, to the start-finish line, really has got a lot of overspeed. He might even be able to get himself ahead on the brakes into turn one. Gonna have to go the long way round. James Crouch, who's already won a race so far this season, and he's up into second place, and he could not waste any time. He's now got 8.5 seconds to catch up to Winbo. I mean, that's as basic a task as you have. 32 minutes, 8 seconds to gain, and now Crouch has got to start looking ahead to that. Behind them, it's very close between Godzik and Yanko. Bowden trying to get past Yanko. That's a big move. That could be for a podium place, could even be for the race win later on. Something happens to the top two. Bowden is ahead now, up into 6th place, and he has a good chance at a double podium today now, has Bowden.
He does indeed. McMahon still in 8th place, a little bit off the back of this pack. Daniel Lee way down in 20th position. Taj Edwards in 19th. So they haven't fared well in the early exchanges. Eipenberg 14th as well. So there's been some real pain felt by the quicker guys, the front runners, if you will. Just looking through the sheet now, there's been some really big losers in this. Picking out Adam Coles, he's lost 17 places. Max Wolf 17. Hutchinson 20. Van der Nessa 24. And the biggest one of all, Tim Perry, a loss of 30 places, Sam.
Disastrous round for some of these guys. Eipenberg, he's missed the corner. He thought he was going to hit one of the Fugger cars, and he's actually going to hit the wall as well. Dennis Eipenberg. I'll check to see what his drop round is at the moment, because he'll be wanting to drop this round. Bowden ahead of Godzik. Oh, wow. In Godzik round, he's going to lose a few places here. That was way too much curve, as I'm sure a non-racing fan can tell you. Oh, and off the circuit as well. That's going to have to go the long way. Contact between the two of them. And that is Weinmaster, the Ferrari, trying to gain a place. And now there's contact between the two of them again. And Godzik having a real tough time. They can punch from left to right.
I have to say, Sam, most of this race I've had my hands firmly placed around my head. I cannot believe what I'm seeing. That was outrageous. A little bit of a bad rejoin after running wide, and then more contact. Unnecessary, in my opinion. Powell right behind them still finds himself in 10th place after his off, so he's still running really well, leading the normal AMS. As you said earlier, Yanko's going to get promoted anyway, so still leading the AMS after he's off. But there's way too much unnecessary roughing going on for my liking, Sam. I think Bob Humphrey and Rob Lundgren done the right call and decided to sit this one out.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, I don't know what's going to the drivers. It is perhaps it's partly down to this circuit being so narrow, but we visited some other tricky circuits as well. Charlotte Motor Speedway, of course. Earlier on the championship grid, Atlanta isn't necessarily that easy either. But America, for that sake, as well. Lots of narrow circuits so far this season. Mosport, the other. So no, it is strange. Here comes Dean Powell, who should be in second place. There's no doubt about that. He would be in second place if it weren't for that mistake they made through Villeneuve. He is gaining back some places though. He still needs to gain points for his amateur championship, and he's currently still the amateur leader with issues for Adam Coles, of course, earlier on in the race. So to ninth now though.
You know what, Sam? I had horrendous flashbacks. Do you remember commentating on World GT last season here, where Fletcher was out in front in race 3 and I was chasing him down in P2, and I lost it in Acqua Minerale on my own. I have flashbacks to that, leading the AM charge and throwing it all away. So demoralising, such a shame as well, because you kind of see your name in bright lights for a little while. You think, you know what, I could actually be a legit podium sitter here. That'd be amazing. And it all just to crumble away. Such a shame, but he's dusted himself down now, running in P9 and going well. Again, we saw the speed he still had in his car when he made the move on Master last time by. He's not running wide there.
That's actually him getting past some back markers. That back marker was Rob Winter, who was a little bit in the way there. Rob Winter scored points, so is he too many laps down? He's already 2 laps down, so he won't score points actually, Winter. So you might want to just pack it in, seeing how much damage he's got on that car.
The amount of people falling off their track, Sam, he's probably sitting with a shout at the top 10 here.
Yeah, but he won't score points. Unless the leaders have issues. You won't score points anyway. But that's a good point. We may well see Baby Dress actually getting points today. McMahon up to 5th now. He always finds his way through. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Maybe first round of the championship. In the last couple of seasons, he's had an instance in race 2, but apart from that, he's always on the podium. And he's up into 5th. Next up is his old nemesis Bowden, and now that top 5 is heck, even that top 8 is kind of a standard top 8 now. So the top guys have done well to get through the order as quick as they have.
Well, I think they have had a big helping hand by the squabbling few in the midfield there. But that said, they've had to navigate it themselves. We saw Bowden almost get collected by Godzik, didn't we? As Godzik went flying over the curb, so close to taking him out. So he's ridden his luck, but he's up there in 4th. McMahon was he was down in 8th, wasn't he? Last time I saw him, but he's made a couple of quick moves, getting back on the charge again. Who are we missing from that top lot, really? I mean, Lee, you'd say should be up there. Eichenberg, obviously. Edwards. I mean, they're still not making any real progress, are they? That's surprising. I wonder if they've actually got some damage. I wonder if they were caught out really bad in the incidents.
Who does that say? Edwards and
Edwards, Lee, Eichenberg, even Powell. Like they're still way down. 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th.
Yeah, I think they've had all had issues since the lap 1 as Bowden up into 3rd. We'll have somebody else to respond to him. Grafson, of course, he finished 2nd place in Road America race 2. I'll check his results in a second, but I'm not sure if he's actually even in the top 10 ever since, but top 5 looks very likely for him at the moment. Back McMahon there to catch him. Bowden now 10 seconds off the lead, and he's lapping. I think he's got about a second a lap on Winbay. That could happen. That could happen. At the moment, Crouch isn't actually catching up to Winbay. I mean, on the last lap he gained 3/10, but the previous lap he lost 3/10. So it's kind of staying around 7 seconds at the moment. This is close. I'm not sure if any of them have got the pace to take off his first ever win for Emil Winbay at the moment. But yeah, back to I think Powell collided with Gordon, who had to take back to the pits. Eichenberg, of course, had that second off. Not sure about Lee. I think he just had a really bad start. It's just his personal best after the race as Daniel Lee. Faster than everyone out on the circuit. He was the fastest man on the circuit, not so man with Daniel Lee. And then Stevens in 16th. What a race it could have been for Stevens as well. If it weren't for that off earlier on. In fact, I can't remember what happened to Stevens earlier. That was the one at Rivazza, I guess, wasn't it? He got collided into by Crouch, I believe. But a lot has happened. It's difficult to remember it all.
No, I think you're right with that one. To answer your totally rhetorical question, because you knew that I would go to the notebook anyway, Gravson, since Road America, has finished 5th in race 1 at Monza. He has finished 4th in race 1 at Mosport. There are his other ones within the top 5.
So I was wrong. I was really wrong. He hasn't been in the top 10 since. He's been in the top 10 4 times since.
Well, he might have been in the top 10 more than that. I just record the top 5s because that's.
Well, he's had a 5th, a 10th, a 17th, a 6th, and a 4th, and a 25th. He didn't take part in Road Atlanta. He's actually in 9th place in the championship at the moment, Grass, and if it ended like this, I think he'd be able to get ahead of James Salt, who isn't here today. I've just realised that Salt isn't here. Oh, what's happened to Lee now? He's just lost that place again. Yeah, bad news for Lee. And in fact, actually, Bowden will surely be going up into 2nd place in the championship if it ends like this. Maybe Crouch will still be ahead of him. But be some big changes for Van. We'll be extending his lead as the others take points off one another, and we'll just be able to extend that lead to probably about 100 points going into the last couple of rounds of the championship, which is getting in the realms. Yeah, it's getting in the realms of getting the championship sewn up. And dare I say, it's almost certainly going to be sewn up before the final round, and it might even be sewn up after today. I'm not quite sure. I'll have to do some maths afterwards. Contact. Well, that's going to compromise their braking ability, and a big load of contact. Mercury Owen is round, who has had a tricky run of race twos this season. Now, I don't think he's finished in the top 10 in any race twos this season, despite finishing consistently in the top 10 in race 1s. And he has to come back to the pits to get his faster there.
He has. That was a real shame. I thought they'd sorted themselves out after the initial contact. To see that Edwards having a bit of a late move there on Kitterman. Gets it done though, slows it down enough. Kitterman just giving him the space. I think that's that one thing you're sure of. If you're going to make a move on Kitterman, he will allow you the space, which is always handy. But Edwards finally making moves up to 13th place now. It's taken him a little while to get himself into a groove, but he's up there now. Kitterman running 2nd out of the proper Rams. Another solid showing from him after his AM win last week in the endurance, which was amazing for him. He's continuing his form here. Just looking a little bit further down the order, see if we've got anyone making some comebacks after the initial problems. Ryan Jones has gained 10 positions, by the way, up in 21st position. That's good going from him. Obviously picking his way through the bones of the wrecks that were around him, but a solid job so far. Crouch has taken the lead.
What's Winbo done?
Winbo's gone off the track for nearly 5 seconds. What have you done, Winbo?
You've let Sweden down. You know Mats Villander, mate. No Mats Villander. Yep. I can't see this one, unfortunately, Adam.
It's coming down to the last couple of left-handers. Oh, he just loses it on the entry to the first one. Catches the inside curb, gets out onto the gravel, gets it back on track, almost gets collected by Tim Perry, and then just slots back in between Crouch and Bowden. Oh, what a shame. We said it, didn't we, Sam? We called it. If he didn't make a mistake, he could win this one. And now he's got Bowden right behind him, and it's going to be tough from here on out.
He definitely has a win in his hands right there. His pace was good. He was maintaining the gap to Crouch, maybe losing 1/4 of a second a lap, but that would have been enough. He was losing 1/2 a second a lap to Bowden, but that wouldn't have been enough to catch, especially seeing that Bowden had to pass Crouch. And now, the race win isn't going to be him. Dare I say, his pace was so good, I think he might even get a podium out of this Bowden. It will almost certainly be his best result of the season. But you do not get a much better opportunity at winning a race than right there. And one of these mistakes does creep in for the 148 car. It's sort of Sweden 2-3, and of course Denmark doing well. Scandinavia returning back to the front of the field in this round of the championship. And now, Winbo might hold up Bowden here. They are all in BMW, so it won't be easy to overtake. Bowden so far has been making some brilliant moves. Outside at the first chicane seems to be his go-to plan, just because it's the most obvious overtaking spot, turn 1. Straight prior to it. Get it done on the brakes, the inside or the outside, but that time nowhere near Jonas Bay, who is carrying a bit of damage after that collision at Rivatsa early on in the race.
He is. I'm just going to wonder how much that's going to hinder him. I mean, it's not been so bad so far, as that he's managed to pick his way through the field well enough with that damage. I don't know whether that's going to cause any excessive tyre wear. Maybe start scrubbing across the track. He's got a good run coming up the hill, though. Winbo kind of parking his car in the middle of the track. Bowden having a little look. He's going to be brave if he wants to try and throw one up there. Winbo with the momentum, but what a drive there from Bowden. He really got the undercut. Looked like it was going to be done there down into Acqua Minerale and just couldn't get it done going down there. But it's going to be tough to pass him. Winbo's not slow, and Bowden, like you said, they're in similar cars, carrying a bit of damage. And all this plays into Crouch's hands, who's starting to get away a little bit.
Daniel Lee moving up into 12th place. There's been quite a lot's happened in the battle from 12th down to 16th. And just losing a place, I think, was Copeland there, losing a couple of places. Down to 14th, Kevin Kittelman will as well. And it's oh, that's sore. I think he locked the brakes there. I think he was as nervous as I was. I thought that was guaranteed to go into the car ahead. And yet he managed to get it stopped. That was very strange. Dennis Eichenberg will have the inside though, and I don't think Kittelman will fight this one too much. Eichenberg leaving so much space on the inside. He's already made a mistake down into Rivatsa so far today when going for a move. No such problems there. But yeah, Lee up into 12th. Frustrating day for Lee. And that is why you should get a good race 1 qualifying. Usually avoids a few of the incidents that he has had to endure so far today. Further up, Bowden is ahead now of Winbo. It's a huge move. And he's got 2.2 seconds now to catch up to James Crouch. And we will see soon. Imagine how he managed to do it, as Copeland is off the circuit.
That looked quite a heavy impact into the barrier there. Not quite sure what happened to him. Kittelman having a bit of a scrap here with Moore, and Eichenberg just up ahead of them, trying to get himself involved. Maybe just consolidate his top 15 place. Funny, you winced there when we saw the move into the last chicane there, Sam. I race in VR, so my perception of what's around me is a lot more realistic than seeing it on screens. And of course in commentary I'm doing it on a screen, so everything seems so much closer now that I'm watching it on a screen. Oh no, Alex Moore's locked up going down into Acqua Minerale there. Carried way too much speed, flung it off to the outside. Fortunately no one else was collected. Gets himself underway again. But yeah, on screen, Sam, everything is so much closer. I wince when there's probably a good 3 or 4 feet between the cars still.
Yeah, I was very concerned about that one, but we avoided the mess, fortunately. Don't know if we could get the replay actually of the Winbo move, because as we were paying attention to the battle up just outside the top 10. And here it was. Bowden moving up into 2nd place.
He is. Nothing untoward there. Oh, Winbo got a little bit of a slide coming through the second part of the chicane. That's why when we cut through them before, it looked like he was going a fair bit slower. It's because he was compromised on the exit, Sam. Just lost all of his momentum, and it meant Bowden can just filter past him without too much of an issue. I wonder, Winbo is sliding around a lot. I wonder if he's just got a little bit too much heat in those tyres. He's sliding around. Bowden's he's off up the road a fair bit already, and you can see in the rear view camera already Gravson right behind him, going to be putting the pressure on. It looks like he's really struggling out there.
Yeah, has had one big off so far today. Yanko still trying to score a podium. With how well he defended initially, at least against Foden, he might be able to hold off Grabson. McMahon well on the way as well. Oh, McMahon's right on the tail of Grabson. Might have to cut back behind. Here he is. Ford driver, championship leader, defending champion. Doesn't look like it's going to be another race win for him, but I'm sure he'd like to get another podium. Has finished on the podium every round bar 2 so far this season. And he goes the long way round. Grabson's already been done exactly with this move by Foden already, and he has it done to him the exact same way this time. McMahon up into 4th place as Lee is up into 10th. Nearly up into the top 10. Now he's got his teammate Dean Powell just in front of him. Where's Yanko in this? Yanko's actually 7 seconds behind. Yanko's pace hasn't been very strong, strangely. He's been really good in race 1. In fact, actually, he's struggled to drop Tim Perry. But Yanko should still be able to get 6th place for this one, I imagine. But Grabson should be safe in 5th to the end of the event. Bowden, by the way, taking out 0.3 of a second off James Crouch on that last time round. It's 1.8 seconds with 14 minutes to go, which means that I think he should catch with about 5 minutes to go. So this will be a tight battle for the race one.
It's funny how the races always end in a big crescendo, isn't it? Like that. We've seen it time and time again with McMahon making his way to the front. Think back to the race 2s in last season where he would just bide his time, kind of give himself a maybe 10-second gap to bridge to the first place, and then somehow do it with a couple of laps to go and take a win. Just come back to the scores, Sam. How has he got himself 100 points ahead? I hark back to last season. It seems a whole lot closer than that. I'm really confused at how he's managed to have such a lead. That's incredible.
Yeah, so at the end of this round, we would have had 11 races, and he's only taken 3 wins. I say only, but 3 out of 11 isn't that great.
Well, compared to last season.
Compared to last season when he got 9 wins overall, didn't he? And of course should have taken the last race win at Suzuka as well. But he's also had 5 second places. And so he's had 3 wins, 5 seconds, and then a 6th and a 15th. So it's just that consistency that he's been able to open up. I mean, you compare that to Lee, who's had a 3rd, a 7th, a 3rd, a 7th, a 3rd, an 11th, a 7th, a no score, and a 1st. When you take into account drop scores, the gap between them going into this round was 75 points. But with Lee having a tricky round, I think that'll be over 100. I mean, maybe Bowden might close the gap slightly, but Bowden was already 120 points behind. Bowden with a couple of penalties as well so far this season, whereas McMahon, I don't think has ever picked up a penalty in Apex Racing League GT history, and picks up very few off tracks as well. So it's just really impressive from McMahon. And you're right, it hasn't been easy for him. But he's got the gap. Oh dear. That's a narrow corner. That's Godsick versus Chambers battling. And who's got the bigger slowdown then? I imagine Godsick's got the bigger slowdown. And here he is lifting off. He's still battling. That slowdown doesn't actually serve a whole lot. You can serve it on the brakes into Rivatsa. I think that's what Godsick's doing at the moment, or was doing. Now, he should have probably served it by now, but Chambers is ahead. Dean Powell trying to profit from this, looking like he could get a top 7.
It's kind of funny, isn't it? We see them make contact at the that little chicane at the top of the hill, not giving each other room, and then they've managed to go side by side for the rest of the lap. It's kind of funny how it plays out like that, but Chambers takes the 7th position back again. Godsick is going to be wanting to get back on with this and try and claw it back himself, and you're right, Powell just behind. Close up the gap a little bit. He's ready to pick up any pieces here. Still running really well despite his off earlier on. Remember that he was running in 2nd when he did have a self-inflicted incident. But still great points for Powell in the amateurs. He must be right up there. I don't recall the championship. I believe he is leading that already. So another good haul of points today should see him well on his way to taking that title, I'd imagine. If he can get past these two, that'd be even more points in the bank for him.
Yeah, Powell just with the 1 top 10 so far this season, which is crazy to think. That was the third place at Mosport though, in race 2, when he got on the podium. Oh, it's happened again!
Deja vu.
And it'll be Danger race 2. That was great. God's sake, being done. He is down to 9th place now. Chambers pulling away in 7. God's sake might be able to respond here, but once again, that BMW paint's down straight will certainly help him. He's actually pulling away, even though God's sake should be in the draft. Or admittedly, Powder's got a bit of a draft. You can see him way up the straight line speed for the M8. The lead, by the way, coming down by about 0.2 of a second on that last time round. Crouch being caught by Bowden. 1.1 seconds now, with 9 minutes remaining. That means that we've got, 6 more laps to go? And maybe even probably 6 more laps after this one, I believe. And so that's plenty enough time for him to get within range. Once he gets within 0.6, then, or within 0.8, then that draft will already catch him up. They've also got a little bit of lap traffic ahead. That's Chris Vandenesse, who was no slouch. Vandenesse with a troublesome day today, but in the championship, Vandenesse up in 6th place, despite missing around earlier on in the season. But he will try to make this one easy. No team allegiances to these guys. He might even be able to catch a little bit of a draft down the pit straight.
Yeah, I suppose that's what he'd be looking for, just a little bit of a helping hand. There is a gap in front of them up to the next place back marker, so not too much to worry about. Mahn has managed to get himself past Wimbo there. We just cut to that. That was coming down into the final left-hander, I believe. The last corner managed to get the job done. Wimbo having a look back, but Mahn placing the car smack bang in the middle of the track. Wimbo's not going to get anywhere around him there. And McMahon, from what seemed obscurity for the first portion of the race, way down and not doing much, has got himself up onto the podium yet again, Sam. What a drive. You can see the damage on that front rear arch as well. He has been in the wars.
Yeah, but he kept himself clean out. And whenever we talk to Tom after the races, he's always just like, I just want to survive in the first few laps. He had such a tricky GT season 1 where he got involved in so many collisions ever since then. And actually race 2 as well at Silverstone in season 2, I think had a bit of an effect on him as well. And now he's one of the most conservative drivers out on track. But when you're as fast as him, you kind of make up for it. Maybe next season, hopefully he'll be challenged a bit more by the other drivers and he'll have to take a few more risks. That would really be interesting to see. But at the moment, he's got a bit of a cushion. He can really take his time when it comes to these things. Now, Wolf holding back Michael Rosenfeld. I know he's had a great debut. Max Rosenfeld was involved in a collision earlier on in this race too, but who wasn't? They are a huge distance back. They are over a minute back from the leaders. In fact, only the top 28 currently on the lead now, which ain't too bad, I guess. But we can start with 35. We've had a few retirements out there. Despite the fact that the Jersey have a fast fair, Wolf now pulling away from Rosenfield. I don't even know what happened to Wolf earlier on. Started in 12th place. Good first race for him, finishing in P9. But must have got involved in the same incident that Daniel Lee did, and because they started in a similar area, and it's just trying to recover some points. But this would still be one of Wolf's best meetings of the season, I believe. As Daniel Lee sets the fastest lap of the race, he's been pretty quick. Winbo down into 5th now. Grafson's got past him.
I believe he went off the track. I did see a little red marker come up on the timing tower there to indicate that he had gone off somewhere. I'm guessing probably the second chicane. By the looks of where he is on the track now. So just more errors creeping in for him. What could have been a win became a podium, and what was a podium became a top 5, which is, I'm sure that's not what he would have wanted. 12 seconds off Crouch out in front, which is crazy when you think about it. But then, to be fair, this whole race has been a crazy race for most people. I'm thinking about Wolf, by the way, Sam. It was Tim Perry that was involved in the initial incident, wasn't it? And he was running sort of second or third at that time, so that would have affected quite a lot from maybe the top 10, just outside the top 10. So the likes of Wolf and Lee absolutely would have been involved in that, whether they just had to go off the track or whether they've just slowed down and waited for it to clear and then got underway again. Whatever it was, it certainly put pay to a lot of the aspirations for these drivers of getting good results.
It's been a long comeback ever since for many of these drivers, as Crouch now only half a second clear of Bowden, and this is where it comes down to racecraft, and this is where you just got to make the move. Of course, as Murray Walker would say, catching is one thing, passing is another. 4.7 seconds back to McMahon. It's testament to Bowden's pace today. He's undoubtedly been the best driver so far today. Pulled off some great moves, pulled a gap in race 1 as well, and pulling away from McMahon in this race 2. Really, the first time he's got close to his Road America pace. He's been good in qualifying ever since then, to be fair to Bowden. But certainly in the races, he's always been second best to McMahon. Today, he's genuinely just been the fastest driver. And he'll be looking to keep that up to the rest of the season to help his team Hull Racers in the championship. Also, he tries to get that second place in the championship as well, albeit McMahon surely with the championship win in the bag as long as he holds on to this third place. But Bowden, 4/10 of a second behind. A drive like that through second with Vatsa isn't going to do him a whole lot of good. And I doubt he'll be within passing range here, but this is still an interesting view to see how much he's gaining down the straights. And I don't know about you, I'd say maybe 0.3 of a second behind coming out of Vatsa. I think he could have a good chance of getting alongside.
Yeah, well, anywhere within that 3/10, absolutely, he's got a chance. Crouch, we've seen him defend a lead before, haven't we? See how much later Bowden is on the brakes there. Oh, he's running wide. That's going to cost him a little bit. But Crouch, he can place his car in good places. Like I was saying earlier in race 1, he doesn't seem to be the most aggressive of overtakers, but he can defend. So with just a smidge under 3 minutes remaining, he hasn't got long left to hold off Bowden. There's a little bit of lap traffic coming up ahead of them now. Just up the road, we can see in the distance. I'm not sure whether that's going to play into this fight at all. I would hope not, but that's certainly something to take into consideration. Whether it helps or hinders Crouch, we're going to find out.
So we'll cross the line with about, so yeah, 2 more laps to go after this one. 2 more laps to go after this one. So really 2 more big attacks from Bowden left for him to go for, and that will be about it. Chester and Bingham are the 2 cars ahead who are battling one another, so you'd suspect that they will fight quite hard in order to keep the leaders behind them. They are lapping about 2 seconds a lap slower, so they will be caught probably on the last lap. Bowden was more than 0.3 of a second behind coming onto the pit straight. It was more like 0.4 of a second, and so once again he's not quite there. Crouch, oh, is there going to be contact? There is contact between the 2 of them. Crouch skids across, and is McMahon going to take advantage of this? Bowden, I think, is waiting, or is he waiting? He's not. McMahon moves up into second place. So will Bowden wait, because that was pretty obvious, or was that netcode there, Adam? We had a pretty good view of that. I'm not sure if there was contact between the 2.
I'm not entirely sure, and I think he wanted to wait. He was very slow accelerating. I think he wanted to give the place back to Crouch, which suggests that maybe it wasn't a netcode. But the moment he saw McMahon coming, he was straight back on that accelerator. He didn't want to lose any more positions. We see now from the bumper cam, how close does he get? Oh yeah, that's definitely contact there, Sam. We saw right inside that wheel arch. Such a shame. And yeah, you see him just easing off, just hoping that Crouch was going to get going again so he could get the place back. But like I said, the moment, oh, he is easing off. He is easing off. McMahon is through now. Bowden is just taking his time, slowing up. Gravson is probably going to get past as well, you would imagine then. But that's the sporting thing to do there from Bowden, compromising what would have been a win for him.
Yeah, he might escape the penalty as well, depending on how Crouch feels if he doesn't submit a protest, then that would probably not be a penalty for Bowden. But from looking as though, as in fact McMahon's only going to cross the line with a couple of seconds to spare. Yeah, well, technically that was over the 40 minutes, but he just about managed to get in the final lap. They were so slow, obviously, on that lap because McMahon was about 5 seconds behind. They were going to make it comfortably. But it was looking like we were going to see a driver for the one of Crouch or Bowden get their second race wins of the season. And instead, it's going to be McMahon getting his 4th race win of the season with his 5 second places and keep up this run of top 2 finishes. It's Schumacher 2002-esque because if he managed to win this race, heck, if he managed to finish 2nd place in this race, that would be 6 consecutive top 2 finishes. You think that 3 of them were reverse grid races. It really does show just how fantastic Tom McMahon has been so far this season. 4 of them were reverse grid races. That's pretty crazy. And so yeah, it's looking very good for him. Crouch trying to catch up to Grabson right at the finish. Bowden's gone off the track. I think that's a self-mistake there from Bowden. Oh no. Oh no. Well, looked like he might get the double race win. It's going to be anything but now. And that does trigger the checkered flag. Bowden doesn't win the race. Hopefully our time screens will correct on that one. This man is going to win the race though. And after being a little bit under the radar in the early stages, he waited for the others to make mistakes. And they did. And Tom McMahon is going to approach the checkered flag at Imola to take his 4th race win of the season and put one hand on the championship win for this, the Apex Racing League GT Championship Season 3. Oh, Powell's had an issue. Dean Powell, this is big for the Amateur Championship. Dean Powell is down to 11th place. Can he keep Vinemaster behind him? Vinemaster's a bit further back. So that is important for Powell, but he did lose a couple of places, I think, to Lee and Eipenberg. Certainly Eipenberg lost a place, I think maybe Daniel Lee as well. But it is still top of the amateur drivers for Dean Powell. Kittelman, good strong points for him. He's always there on thereabouts, isn't he, Kittelman? Will finish in 13th place with Bowden's late retirement. Moore will hold off Sivi Sabo. Sivi Sabo starts on the pit lane across in race 1, was making his way up all the way through the day after that, and he finishes in 16th place. Adam, what a crazy race that was. I think, to be honest, the driving standards maybe the lowest we've seen so far this season. Just lots of avoidable incidents. Admittedly, some unlucky ones as well, just with the nature of this track. And McMahon wins out of it. That was a little bit of an anticlimax, I'm not gonna lie. You know, we had the possibility of Winbow being caught by Crouch and Bowden, then we had Crouch and Bowden or the last lap battle, and in the end, they all make mistakes, and it's Tom McMahon who takes the spoils.
It still blows my mind how Tom McMahon finds himself in these positions. You know, this one was gifted to him through bad judgment from Bowden. You know, he didn't look like he was ever going to win this race, and yet he has. I wish I had his luck, to be honest. For someone who just tries to survive in races, he sure does have the knack of picking up results. And to be fair, I mean, it was a great drive to avoid incidents, but I certainly feel that he's been gifted one today.
I mean, maybe it's that luck from season 1 coming back for him, isn't it? Because he was so unlucky that championship. But I think that's the first lucky Tom McMahon win I think I've seen. And we don't usually see finishes like that. But we've had some good finishes this season, haven't we? I think in previous seasons, American GT had some good finishes. But season 1 and season 2 weren't great. But they had some great finishes this season. It's McMahon who wins, 4 seconds clear of Grabson. Great result for Grabson. That's another second place for him. And will propel him up the standings as well. He was 9th going into this round. He will... Wow, he'll, I mean, dare I say, he might even be up to 4th place after this. I'm not sure. We'll see. James Crouch rounds out the podium. Pretty good day for Crouch, but that could have been a second race win for him. Hope you'll get a chat with him Emil Winbo, 4th place. Well, finally, he gets a good result, Winbo. I feel like I'm being very harsh to Winbo, to be honest, because yeah, he is in his debut season, but that is his first top 14 finish of the season, but it could have been a win. After leading by 8 seconds at one point, Mohamed Yanko in his debut, I mean, looked like the most responsible driver out there, didn't he? 4th and 5th. Great result. 5th place in that space too. Matty Chambers, underrated as he always is, finishes in 6th. Dennis Arthur Godsick, good recovery for Daniel Lee, and so too Dennis Eichenberg. Dean Powell finished in 10th place, but again, I mean, could Powell have won? I don't know. Maybe a podium in his. Yeah, and Winemaster in his debut gained 17th places to finish in 11th. There's Tom Stevens, Kevin Kitzelman, Taj Edwards, Alex Moore, Daniel Civi Sabo, Max Wolf, Aaron Powell, Adam Coles, Michael Rosenfeld, Mark Hutchinson, Kev Copeland, Andrew Becker, Ryan Jones, Joseph Saul, John Tressida, Bob Humphrey. Jonas Bowden will score points, but he was 1 lap down. Chris van der Nesse and Tim Perry will also score points. Just trying to figure this. Yeah, that is right. Yeah. However, Luke McCohen, John Gordon, Jensen Adjinsons, Rob Winter, and Stephen Brown all retired from the race. So there's a couple of other broadcasts going on. I don't know what is going on, and I think we had this last week as well, to be fair. Other broadcasts going on, so thank you for tuning in for this race, not bothering with the other broadcasts that Apex Racing TV are doing, because trust me, they're not very good. They're not usually very good, so I don't know why you'd be watching anything else. We are going to, we'll get one of our race winners in. We will have a chat with Tom McMahon, who finishes in 2nd and 1st places today. Congratulations, Tom. We'll get straight to it then. Race 2, the final few laps. I mean, you must have been looking forward to that. I mean, I don't know. We feel like in the commentary box, the win's been taken a bit out of ourselves because we were really surprised when that incident happened. We were really looking forward to those two battling, and then they collide with one another, and you win out. I mean, is there a slight little bit of disappointment for yourself as well, seeing that that happened, or is it pure delight that you got yourself a 4th race win of the season?
It definitely doesn't feel as good. Disappointed? No. I'll always take a win. And I guess it's like, on one hand, like obviously it's the luckiest win that I've ever had, but at the same time, I did pick up damage that wasn't my fault, worked my way through to 3rd, and I guess I was in the right place at the right time. Yeah, like obviously I'm happy. I'm gutted for Crouch. I don't know what happened, so I can't comment. I know that Jonas then did slow down to let Crouch through, and he sort of stayed behind me at Monza. So I doubt that it was intentional. So it sounds like maybe it was just one of those things. But yeah, of course I'm happy. I was settling for like the championship points. This round was very much bag some points and move on. And yeah, 1st and 2nd, 2nd, 1st.
Yeah, let's go back to race 1 because he had a good battle with Jonas in the early stages. You were really close. I mean, a couple of times he had to go defensive into turn 1, and then just seemed to start to kind of get dropped by him ever so slightly. Was that just triggered by like a mistake, or was Jonas just too quick to stay?
Both. I got a slowdown coming out of I can't remember the name, and my Italian's not very good. But yeah, I got a slowdown, and that kind of broke the draft. So I felt good. The Ford she's a bit of a handful round there. So like qualifying was a bit of a mess, and then so I had a couple of chances, but again I didn't want to do anything stupid. So then yeah, and then Jonas, he just drove away. He was the quickest one out on track today. Just a shame it didn't work out for him in race 2, but race 1 he drove flawlessly. So hats off to him.
Yeah, I will say certainly a very good performance from him. You are nearing in on the championship. You are. We don't know, to be fair, but you're like 100 points clear or something in the championship. You can barely lose now because your drop scores are so good. Yeah, must be feeling pretty good now because I don't know. We were saying earlier on how it's surprising that you're 100 points clear. I mean, is it surprising to you that you're 100 points clear?
Yes, because this is a more overall a more competitive field than last year. I'm driving better this year than I did last. I think from I was trying to work out in my head. I think from Monza race 2, I haven't finished off the podium.
Yeah, I haven't finished outside of top 2.
So that to me, that's where it's not a surprise, because I know how crazy these races can be. And so even like today, so Dennis finishes third race 1, and then gets caught up in some trouble, finishes I think 9th, he said. Daniel Lee I saw spun on the outside. So I know that I'm obviously quite quick, but my consistency this year has been a lot better. Haven't made, from what I can remember, any sort of major mistakes in terms of spins or anything like that. So, but it's never over until it's over. So yeah, week off and then focus for, is it Nürburgring first?
Nürburgring, yep.
Yeah, focus on that for next week.
Awesome. Well, best of luck for that one, Tom. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Just the usual crew, all the drivers. It seems to be they're having a good chin wag in the chat room in Discord. But I mean, from where I'm standing, the racing's awesome. So thank you to everyone. You guys for an awesome league, awesome stream, and the EvoSL guys for all the practice and help that we do during the weeks.
Awesome. Thanks for having a chat with us, Tom. And go get yourself that title next time out.
We'll try. Cheers, guys.
Tom McMahon there, second place in race 1, first place in race 2, championship leader, and your defending champion as well. Adam, who would you like to chat with next?
I think it would be wrong of me not to, or to pass up the opportunity of speaking to Emil Wimbo, who has come and joined us in the booth. Emil, it looked rough out there. Race 1 wasn't particularly going to plan, but you got that reverse grid pole, and it was yours to lose.
Yeah. Race 1 was bad. I guess there's no other way to put it. Qualifying was decent, although I was far from my optimal. And then just made a ton of mistakes. Somehow got reverse grid pole. Ran away from Carnage, it seems. I didn't watch it back. I just saw I had like a 7-second gap after lap 5 or whatever. And I carried too much speed into the penultimate corner. Dropped it once, and then I lost a little bit my rhythm and spun once more on next to the final or second chicane.
It was definitely a real shame. Sam and I were saying at the start of race 2 that we know that you've got the pace and the speed to take this win, but if a mistake happens, then that'll be pretty bad, and we hope that it didn't. We've seen it a few times now. Is it something you can like put your finger on why these things are happening?
I was just trying too hard. I think I definitely had the pace, I think, to win it with the gap I had. But it was just certain corners I was struggling a bit with. It was the first race in the BMW as well. I switched from the Porsche. It's just what I usually do. I go fast, and then if I don't crash, I win, and if I spin, I spin.
We're at Nürburgring next time out. How do you go there? I'm guessing you're going to be pretty on the pace again there. Is that somewhere you're feeling confident?
I haven't raced there in a long time, but it should be fine. I hope. I can take some confidence from here at least that I had the pace compared to the usual front runners, so it's a step forward for me. But yeah, just keep up the practice, and then Nürburgring should be fine. Interlagos is one of my favorite tracks, so that should be good.
plenty to look forward to in the last 2 races then. Well, P4 in race 2, so it wasn't a all bad evening for you, so well done for that. Before I let you go, do you want to give any shout outs to anybody?
I guess Apex Racing Academy for helping people and myself develop as drivers, and with a free, or I guess sort of free coaching. Of course, you pay for the membership, but then there's a free coaching sessions for the series or the different series they provide data packs for each week. So that's very nice. Other than that, no.
Well, congratulations on your P4. Bittersweet as it may be. Well done for that.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time at Nürburgring.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
Emil Winbo there, your P4 finisher in race 2. Credit to Emil too for having a chat with us. And best of luck for him for next week. That race win, certainly a podium will come. I mean, it's a lot of potential. Who will we talk with next? Shall I just start singing? Maybe I'll just start singing. We've got a few, but they're really even. So I will call in Mads Grabson because he's got his joint best results of the season. Congratulations, Mads. 2nd place. I mean, take us through it from your perspective, because you seem to be the constant whilst everything else around you was absolutely chaotic.
Yeah, actually, that's a very good description of what happened. I got a pretty good start and just kind of kept chugging away at the laps. I have to be honest though, the Porsche is not great here. Straight line speed is bad, and over the bumps it's pretty bad. But yeah, I mean, just chugging away doing the laps, and I just kind of lucked into it really. So yeah, good result in the end though.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, how have you found this Imola circuit? Is it one that you tend to go well around? Because it did seem like your pace was a bit stronger today than it has been ever since Road America, really.
Yeah, it's very true. I think the competition in this series is just so tight that really you need to be on your own game, and you need to have a good race. I don't think my pace was particularly good this race in comparison to everywhere else. Things just kind of fell into place this round. So
you are now. I thought you may have been a bit further up in the championship. You came into this round in 9th. You are now. No, you were 10th. You're now. No, oh yeah. So you're 8th place now. I can't remember where you were before. You're 8th place now. Anyway, what is your aims for the rest of the season? Because looking at things, you might be able to get as high as maybe 5th place in the championship. I mean, is that your aim, or is it to get that first race win by the end of the season?
I'm not actually sure. I think for the first season, we just kind of anticipated to be competitive, I guess, and I think we showed that. But no, I don't think the championship position is really all that viable, because I wasn't there for the double point on Road Atlanta, and I have had some retirements. But you know, in general, a race win would be very, very good. So let's go with that one. A race win. Yes.
Awesome. Well, now you got to do it. Now that's. I mean, it's quite easy saying it, but now you got to go win at Nürburgring or Interlagos. Anyway, Mads, really nice to talk to you. Is there anyone you'd like to give thanks to?
Yeah, actually there is, because Fugo underwent quite a bit of a change recently. So I would like to thank John and Matthias, the team bosses, for doing everything and making the team work. And we're here stronger than ever, and in more numbers. So yeah, I'd like to say thanks to both of them a lot.
Nice one. Yeah, thanks for having a chat with us, Mads, and we will see you back in a couple of weeks' time. Mads Grafson, your 2nd place finisher in race 2. Adam, I think we've probably got time for one more interview. So, this is going to be a tricky decision, ain't it?
It is. We Oh, we speak to Daniel most weeks, so you know what? I'm gonna have a chat with me old pal Dennis Eipenberg, because it's been a while since I think you spoke to him last time, Sam. So I think it's only fair I have a quick chin wag with him. It's going to be quick tonight, Dennis, but it looked pretty rough out there. Talk us through it.
Well, race 1 was actually pretty cool. I was able to keep up with the guys in front. Then at some point midway through the race, Tom made a mistake and I tried to go on the outside, but there just wasn't enough tarmac to actually go on the outside. So I mowed the grass a little bit there. And yeah, that was all race 1. Race 2, I mean, the last couple of races I've been involved in a lot of silly little accident that cost me a lot. So I really wanted to be as cautious as possible, and that worked for I think 3/4 of a lap, and then I bounced off the curbs in one of them chicanes, or the last chicane, and my car just went in a spin for no apparent reason. And that was pretty much all she wrote. Then I had to fight my way back from pretty much the end of the line. And yeah, rough race, but eventually P9, which I'm still very happy with.
Certainly solid points for the 2 races. Of course, P3 in race 1, and as you say, P9 in race 2.
Yeah.
We did see a lot of incidents going off at the beginning of race 2. Trying to pick your way through that must have been an absolute nightmare. Was it? How was it sitting in the seat and seeing it all unfold in front of you?
To be fair, with all the carnage that happened in the first lap, there were 2 pileups, and I was just on the right place of the track at the moment, so I didn't have to make any evasive moves or anything. So that was all right. It was just coming off the high curves in the chicane that, for no apparent reason yet, I still need to watch the replay, but for no apparent reason, I just got in a spin. And yeah, that was just the start of fighting my way from the back again.
Well, when you watch the broadcast back, I would suggest skipping this interview part, because we've just seen you split the difference between 2 Fugger cars as you went down into the last couple of corners and headed off to the barrier.
Yeah.
We're at,
I don't know what happened there, but they were blocking each other, and they were losing a lot of time. So I thought, you know what, there is actually room to go on the outside and make a move. And I took my normal braking point, but I guess there was just a little bit more dirt, so I needed a bit longer breakaway than I usually would have, and then yeah, straight on.
Nürburgring next. Confident?
Absolutely. In season 1, I won it in race 1. I like the track very much, so yeah, very confident.
Awesome. Well, pleasure as always speaking to you. Before we let you go, do you want to give any shout outs?
Yeah, shout out to High Caliber Auto Sports, because they are missing, so they suck. That's
Well,
it.
fair enough. I'll take your word on that one. Dennis, like I said, pleasure as always. Thanks for stopping by and having a chat. We'll see you in a couple of weeks at Nürburgring.
Looking forward to it, mate. Have a good one.
So that was Dennis Eipenberg then. It wasn't a great day for Eipenberg, was it? I can't even remember where he finished. But he got top 10, and he got 9th place in race 2.
He was third in race 1.
Third in race 1.
Yeah.
Oh, no. It's too much. I need too many commentaries. It just goes in one here. My brain's reached full capacity. You can't even pronounce words now. I've just calculated the scores, by the way, and McMahon has a... Oh, I can't even get it up. Here we go. He's on 543 points when you take into consideration drop scores. Lee is still in second place with 427. So he's got 116 points clear. By my calculations, he would need to score approximately 40 points at... No, 40 points. Lee has to win or get podiums in both of the both races at Nürburgring in order to have any chance of the championship. McMahon very close to the title now. It's looking very strong for him. Yeah, McMahon literally needs 40 points from the next round, which is like easy to get. That's like 2/20ths. And he will be the champion. So it's very much nearly in his hands. In the amateur championship at the moment, Powell will be 40 points clear going into the last 2 rounds, and also EBS are looking very strong in the teams championship as well. But next time out, then Adam, Nürburgring, a circuit that is actually quite light when it's used in moderation. A couple of years ago, it was used way too much. Now it's used a bit more sparingly. I think the drivers have really warmed to it. It's got some fantastic corners with it through the middle part of the track, and also the end of the track can be pretty good as well. I'm looking forward to visiting that one. Of course, it'll be cool as well to visit there 1 week after the Formula One.
It will. It's a surprisingly technical track. It's hard to get a good lap time there, I find. Sectors at a time can be fine, and then you can just throw it all away. Which chicane layout are we doing at the end, Sam? I haven't checked. Was it the fast one or the slow one? Oh. Well, we're either going to have an overtaking opportunity at the end of the lap, or we're not. Either way, I'm sure the rest of it will be pretty fun.
If only we could get rid of the dastard stadium section. Oh, terrible. Tilt, come on, man. The rest of the circuit was so good before then, but no, it will still be good. We had some good races there when we last visited in GT Season 1, so looking forward to that one. That was that was Eichenberg and Andre taking the race wins on that occasion. So unfortunately, we won't be back then next week. We're going to take a week break, but we will be back in 2 weeks' time for Nürburgring, and then we'll be back in 3 weeks' time for Interlagos, which will be the last round of the championship, and where we'll be able to crown all our champions for certain. So hopefully you'll join us back for that one. If you've enjoyed the broadcast, leave a like on the video. We appreciate it. And also subscribe to the iRacing Esports Network. Subscribe, especially though, to Apex Racing TV. Loads of really good content on there. ARLTC is getting into the middle part of the season. We've got AMF. We've got off-road racing. We've got Rallycross coming back very soon, I believe. In fact, it may have already started. We've got single-seaters, prototypes, GT racing, absolutely everything on Apex Racing TV. Lots of broadcasts, especially going to be occurring over the winter months. So subscribe to Apex Racing TV, and you can get a lot of racing into your eyeballs. Also, check out our social media pages as well on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And go give all of them a follow. Lots of posts updating you on all the results from our championships on those platforms. But for now, from me, Sam Fitzpatrick, from Adam Hedgecock, and from Sam Kuma, it is 4 wins for McMahon, and it's 1 hand on the trophy. Can he seal it next time out at Nürburgring? We'll see you then.